Part 99. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 981. What if the clone is involved in natural disasters or killed by some extraordinary people? It doesn't matter, the civil servant in the underworld is not dead. His soul can continue to practice in the underworld and accumulate enough energy to condense a clone again. In addition, there is no limit to the number of clones a civil servant has. As long as the soul has accumulated enough energy, it can continue to condense new ghost messenger clones. When the number of ghost messengers reaches about 10, the level of the next condensed clone will be improved. The second level clone is no longer a ghost messenger, but a black and white impermanence. The number of impermanence that a civil servant in the underworld can maintain is about 1/10 of the number of ghost messengers he maintains. There is a fluctuation. When the number of impermanence accumulates to about 10, that is, about 100 ghost messengers, the new clone will be upgraded again, and then the judge will appear. By analogy, there may be clones such as the King of Hell later. A very high-level civil servant in the underworld is equivalent to a complete set of the underworld system. Clone responsibilities of different levels are also different. Simply put, the civil servants of the underworld are responsible for managing the souls of all living beings after death. For example, the ghost messenger is responsible for collecting the souls of the dead, and generally can only collect the souls of the original species of the civil servant. For example, the ghost messenger clone of a human civil servant can only collect the souls of dead humans, and animals are not under his control. Or it can be said that his ability is not enough. These souls are temporarily managed by this ghost messenger and are considered his subordinates. If the ghost messenger needs it, they can even help the ghost messenger fight. However, ordinary souls have little combat power, and these subordinates are not very useful. The number of souls that a ghost messenger can control at the same time is limited. After a certain level, it should return to the underworld. Hand over the soul to a higher level impermanence for management. It can also be handed over directly to the judge. Generally, civil servants will train a certain number of ghost soldiers to protect their own safety. At the same time, leave some vacancies for collecting souls for delivery. If a civil servant does not have an impermanence or a judge in his own clone, he must hand over the soul to the impermanence or judge of other underworld civil servants in the underworld. Generally, each civil servant will have a direct superior, depending on who interviews him. So in theory, Xiao Ming's direct superior should be Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva. Although he has never seen this Bodhisattva. When he reaches the level of black and white impermanence, he has the ability to collect the souls of all dead things, and can also receive the souls handed over to him by the ghost messenger. The number of impermanence that can be controlled is of course much larger than that of the ghost messenger, but when it is almost full, the souls must be handed over to the judge. He and the ghost messenger are both soul porters. Generally speaking, the most common and active underworld personnel in the human world are the ghost messenger and black and white impermanence. Those above the third level judge rarely come to the human world, because their work is in the underworld. The judge is the person who is responsible for judging the soul and has the power to check the life and good and evil of any soul. Above the judge is the fourth level King of Hell. The King of Hell is responsible for communicating the 6 reincarnations and executing the judge's judgment. If there is an unjust, false, or wrong case, he can also overturn the judge's judgment. If it is the avatar of the same civil servant, there is no difference between the judge and the King of Hell, and the judgment is naturally the same. However, the highest level avatar of many civil servants is the judge. After all, not many can reach the level of the King of Hell. The souls he has judged still need to be sent to the 6 realms through the superior Hades. Then there is a possibility of overturning the verdict. Different civil servants have different understandings of the rules of the underworld. In addition, for the same civil servant, different levels of clones have different attributes and combat power, and will also get different levels of underworld weapons. There are actually other positions above the Hades. But it is no longer within the scope that Xiaoming can currently access and understand. The level and number of clones, the territory occupied by civil servants in the underworld, are proportional to the strength of the civil servants themselves. Ordinary civil servants start as ghost messengers and climb up little by little. But Xiaoming himself is very strong. With Xiaoming's S-level dissatisfaction and A-level swaying strength, he should be able to condense several judge-level clones. The King of Hell is definitely out of the question. However, some things are difficult to proceed normally when it comes to Xiaoming, and he will cause trouble if he is not careful. When entering the reincarnation space, Xiaoming got the status of a VIP, which made his way of playing in the reincarnation space very different from other reincarnations. This time he was recruited as a civil servant by the underworld, and he had problems again. In fact, Xiaoming got the opportunity to interview the underworld so early this time. It was a big surprise in itself. I remember that Yujian Guanghan Zhaozhous who once told Xiaoming that the test of Xiaoming by the three families had started before. But the underworld did not plan to interview so early. I never expected that Xiaoming brought a large area of the underworld directly from the world of Saint Seiya, and began to accept ghosts. The souls rescued from the private world of Beyond the Rift now live in Xiaoming's own underworld. This is a very low probability event. The underworld or underworld of any normal world has an owner. Let alone taking it away, if you dare to touch it a little bit, the owner will probably fight you to death. When Xiaoming was in the underworld, he only captured a few low-level Hades warriors, and Hades didn't care about the life or death of the Hades warriors, so why was he so angry? Even at the cost of a full-scale attack, sending 3 giants to attack the bases of the 3 gods at the same time. As a result, the Hades warriors suffered extremely heavy losses, and the 3 gods turned from defense to offense. Hades' final defeat can be said to be most directly related to this incident. Such an obvious mistake, was Hades' brain watered at the time? In fact, not entirely. As a god, Hades felt the threat of Xiaoming to him in the dark. So he decided to get rid of Xiaoming at all costs. As a result, he made the wrong move. And it was because of Hades' death that the underworld was in a state of ownerlessness and was about to collapse. This gave Xiaoming the opportunity to pick up the leak and take it away later. Otherwise, no matter how big Xiaoming's brain hole was, he would not think of taking away a large area of the underworld. After taking it away, due to the nature of the underworld itself, the souls of the 3 creatures who died near Xiaoming will automatically enter Xiaoming's underworld. So, he has not yet become a civil servant in the underworld, but he has already started working in the underworld. Bei's Hangya certainly discovered the situation at the first moment. And he also felt Xiaoming's specialness. The extremely powerful Hades could not deprive Xiaoming of the underworld. This was simply a challenge to the authority of the Hades. Fortunately, the management of the Hades, who had gone through countless years, was still very sensible. Like Qingxinglu, they knew how to deal with this unexpected situation. So they sent He Vuqian to take the initiative to accept Zhang Xiaoming into the Hades system. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 982. At this time, Bei's Hang Cliff couldn't delay even if he wanted to. If he didn't hurry up to accept Zhang Xiaoming, Yuan Neng might do it himself. Then the underworld would be embarrassed. So the front line accepted Zhang Xiaoming as an employee. New civil servants who were accepted into the underworld had to start marking out territory in the underworld and condense clones. Zhang Xiaoming was absolutely unconventional in this step. He personally owned a large area of the underworld, and the underworld had to recognize and accept this territory. As for the clones, haha, didn't Xiaoming have enough clones? Now in Xiaoming's own underworld, there are more than 250 ordinary shadow clones, and more than 67 star shadow clones. Moreover, most of Xiaoming's Mind Beast series should also be counted as clones. Since the civil servants themselves already have clones, there is no need to slowly condense clones. The underworld directly helps Xiaoming to transform. Xiaoming's Pluto Guard series of mind beasts are definitely the most suitable existence for the nature of the underworld. The underworld automatically selected them as the first sequence for transformation. 108 Hades series gradually changed to a new system supported by orange source energy. It returned a lot of potential points of ability. As for whether to stop after transforming Hades or continue to transform other clones, Xiaoming is still unknown at the moment. It's not just the clones that are transformed. The underworld of each civil servant also needs to be built. It can't be bare, right? Each clone must have a different office location, the soul must also have its own place to practice. With Xiaoming's huge underworld, it is a very huge project to build. This construction did not follow the Chinese style. Since the clones all chose the Hades series, the underworld is also the foundation left by Hades. The source energy also chose the style of Hades, the king of the underworld, for the transformation of Xiaoming's private underworld. It may think that Xiaoming likes this style. The gates of hell, Sansa River, and the 8 hells left to Xiaoming in the Saint Seiya world have been built one after another. The more powerful Hades warriors and the larger Hades buildings have the most direct impact on Xiaoming's soul, which is that the purple mandragora flower in his soul is growing more and more luxuriant. On August 28, when the new reincarnation mission was about to begin, Xiaoming's inauguration was not yet halfway completed. He could not participate in this mission again. By this time, Zhang Xiaoming's residence in the New Han Kingdom had been blocked for a week by the forces of Bei's Hang Cliff, that is, He Vucheng. Ordinary people certainly don't care, even the neighbors across the street can't detect any abnormalities. But in the eyes of the major forces in the New Han Kingdom and even Pangustar, this matter is really incredible. It is rare to see in 100 years. Only the top forces, such as the families of the 12 kings of Dakan, know that it was Bei's Hang Cliff who took action, and it is likely to recruit new ghost messengers. There are also some of the top extraordinary people, at least S-level existences, who can also see that this is the work of the underworld. Never mind what they are doing. They all know that Zhang Xiaoming has got the most awesome backer. From now on, he is no longer a person who can be easily calculated. Look at his background, what a powerful master. He can establish a relationship with the underworld and send his disciples to be ghost messengers. It would be unwise to provoke temptation again. Of course, most of these people also understand the basic principles of the underworld, rewarding good and punishing evil. Although the underworld is powerful, the restrictions on its work are also very strict. Zhang Xiaoming is likely to become a ghost messenger. Ghost messengers only have absolute suppression power over the dead souls. Ordinary people or even extraordinary people, as long as they are not extremely evil, do not have to worry about ghost messengers. And it is actually rare to meet a new ghost messenger. I don't know when the last new ghost messenger appeared. This may still be a good opportunity. From Zhang Xiaoming, we can get some information about the inside of Bei's Hang Cliff by indirect means. This is all very valuable information. Of course, a major premise is that the subordinate forces can no longer take the initiative to calculate Zhang Xiaoming. We must maintain a good relationship. Therefore, the more orthodox forces on Pangustar and their branch forces basically know that Zhang Xiaoming should not be provoked. However, most people only know the fact but not the reason. They only know that they should not provoke him, but they don't know why. Only a few top people know that Zhang Xiaoming is a ghost messenger. In this way, Xiaoming's biggest worry is solved. No longer have to worry about the lives of his family and friends being threatened because of himself. All the people who monitor him around his home have also withdrawn. Are you kidding? Who dares to monitor the ghost messenger? Besides, the ghost messenger of the underworld will automatically gain a very powerful stealth ability, and ordinary reincarnations can't monitor it. However, Xiaoming can't rest easy. Sensible forces are no longer a threat, but ignorant forces or individuals still exist. Therefore, it is still important to continue to improve the personal strength of oneself and relatives and friends. At the same time, the military of the New Han Kingdom is increasingly certain that it is not Zhang Xiaoming who attracts the light spirit. Haha. Because during the week when Zhang Xiaoming was interviewed by the underworld, Xiaoming was still online every day and still attracted the light spirit. This means that it is not Zhang Xiaoming's soul that attracts the light spirit. This is really great. If it is really Zhang Xiaoming, no force can continue to study it. This benefit is completely ruined. Moreover, the researchers found a new change. In the past, the light spirit would linger around Xiaoming for a long time before slowly disappearing. This week, some light spirits stayed with Xiaoming for a shorter time. This puzzled everyone. Could it be that Xiaoming was not doing well? Xiaoming looked at the light spirits floating around in Kunlun, and he also couldn't figure out what was going on. Anyway, some light spirits came uninvited and entered Kunlun directly during the contact with Xiaoming. Xiaoming was also confused. I didn't even open the door, how did you get in? At the beginning, only a few light spirits entered Kunlun. Gradually, more and more light spirits floated in. They have no entity, can pass through each other, and can even blend into the giant trees in Kunlun like elves. It's also quite magical. After this group of light balls entered Kunlun, the atmosphere here became lively. However, one of the natives of Kunlun didn't like the light spirits very much. That is the queen worm predator. The queen worm now lives in the insect nest of the demon world. As a member of the Zerg, the queen worm predator is naturally repulsive to this kind of light group that looks like the Protoss. Xiaoming had no choice but to send the queen predator to the demon realm to protect queen predator No. 001. On the contrary, the light spirits didn't care. They didn't show any hostility to the queen predator. In fact, the light spirits have never shown hostility to any creature. Xiaoming was very suspicious. Did the light spirits become Buddhas? This is too Buddhist. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 983. The light spirits entering Kunlun would not be for no reason, there must be a main reason. But Xiaoming has no way to confirm it. There are many possibilities, such as Xiaoming's own strength growth, becoming a civil servant in the underworld, or even absorbing and fusing the blood of Athena, etc. are all possible. Moreover, the light spirits seem to come to Kunlun for tourism. After playing for a few days, some light spirits began to leave Kunlun. Of course, every time they leave Kunlun, they must be in the Yellow Emperor Galaxy. When Xiaoming possesses Xiaoming, they can probably sense that the outside world is their hometown, so they will leave. They do not need Xiaoming's consent to enter Kunlun, nor do they need it when they leave. Theoretically, light spirits can go to any place that Kunlun can connect to. That is, any place where Xiaoming's soul is. But no light spirit will go to Pangustar, Sheneng 2 spacecraft, Demon Realm, or even the underworld. As long as they leave, they must return to the Yellow Emperor Galaxy. As the number of light spirits in Kunlun increases, the time Xiaoming can travel in the Protoss God realm every day is also extended a little bit. At present, the two souls, Silver Xiaoming and Red Xiaoming, are still in the process of serving as civil servants in the underworld, and are undergoing the transformation of the underworld source energy. Green Xiaoming did not want to be distracted by studying the incarnation of the Protoss Templar and Archon at this time. He just browsed around and watched the excitement. One day, he happened to discover a very interesting piece of knowledge. That is the principle and production method of the Protoss ion light sword. The Protoss was originally a powerful cosmic civilization, and it should be mainly based on long-range combat, right? Why did they develop such a powerful melee weapon? Xiaoming did not understand the meaning, but it did not prevent him from learning this knowledge in his mind and studying it in depth. With the scientific and technological capabilities of Pangustar and Xiaoming's subordinates, it is probably unlikely to really make an ion light sword. However, Xiaoming remembered that he had a laser sword given by Kraken. It was strengthened by Xiaoming twice with source energy, and its power was quite good. Xiaoming was unwilling to fight in close combat, so this laser sword has always been in Zhang Zhong's hands, but Zhang Zhong is also a long-range shooter, and it is a bit of a waste to put the lightsaber in his hands. Neferpitou prefers to fight with claws, and finally this laser sword fell into the hands of the Death Woman who has good martial arts. This laser sword comes from the world of Star Wars. It was originally driven by the Force. But after being certified by the reincarnation space, it became a weapon that anyone can use. It needs to consume a lot of ordinary energy. Correspondingly, its power has been reduced a lot. In fact, the laser sword is just a misleading name. In fact, it is an ion weapon. It has something in common with the Protoss ion light sword. It is just right to learn from each other. But there is no corresponding technology, how to transform it. Fortunately, this lightsaber has only been strengthened by source energy twice. Xiaoming took advantage of the opportunity of the third source energy strengthening, integrated the Protoss ion light sword technology, and combined with alchemy to transform it to an extremely strong state. The lightsaber after 3 strengthenings has an A and level attack power. At the same time, it also brings a side effect. Such a powerful weapon can no longer be driven by ordinary energy. The user must consume his own supernatural energy to drive it. The force or mental power is best. For this reason, Xiaoming had to plant the seeds of the force in the Death Girl. Let her explore and practice on her own. Xiaoming did not have any tutorials in this regard. Some people may ask, why not give such an excellent weapon to his sister or brother when? It is because their skills are too poor and they can't control this weapon at all. If they are not careful, they will hurt themselves. The Death Girl is different. Her fighting skills are already very good. Her own superpower is super recovery, even if she hurts herself occasionally. Xiaoming still remembers the joke he once heard: a Jedi Knight reversed the front and back of the laser sword handle before the battle, and pierced himself when activating the lightsaber. He died extremely pathetic. Xiaoming couldn't help but mourn for this idiot for 2 seconds, and then laughed for 2 minutes. In the end, the lightsaber fell into the hands of the Death Girl, and it may have been slightly affected by this story. In fact, Xiaoming's subordinates also have a very high swordsmanship, that is Fei Ying. If he wants this sword, it will not be the turn of the Death Girl. But Fei Ying hated the sword's power, and couldn't compete with the enemy in swordsmanship. The ion light sword could easily cut off ordinary weapons. He couldn't even fight with his opponent. Fei Ying disdained to defeat the enemy in this way. So he refused arrogantly. Death Girl didn't mind these. She only cared about whether she could help her savior Xiaoming. She didn't have Fei Ying's personal thoughts. According to her own superpowers, Death Girl asks Xiaoming to implant the lightsaber into her body. The specific location is at the wrist of her right hand. It can't be seen from the outside. There are 2 conventional uses: one is to break through the muscle skin and pop out of the hilt, quickly appear in the hand, and activate the lightsaber to meet the enemy. The second is to activate the lightsaber directly inside the body, and the ion blade suddenly shoots out from the wrist, launching an unexpected attack. No matter who the enemy is, there is a high probability of being hit. Activating the lightsaber inside the body will naturally hurt the palm of Death Girl herself. However, the Death Girl can recover from injuries at a high speed, so as long as the adamantium skeleton is not damaged, there will be no problem. After this transformation was completed, the first guy who came to be infected was Toguro from the private world of Yu Yu Hakusho. His arrival was not surprising. Xiaoming had been waiting for him. The last time the Toguro brothers left, they had a video call with Sakyo. Huang Xiaoming heard everything while hiding nearby. What they meant was that they would come to find him again. He didn't know what tricks they were going to use. At that time, Sakyo was extremely confident and believed that with his superpower, money, he could easily find Xiaoming. But if Xiaoming ran around the world, it would be difficult to find him. If he ran to the demon world again, Sakyo would never be able to find him. However, Xiaoming transformed the villa built by Tsuriken Ken into his base in the human world. Sakyo could find him even with his eyes closed. This time, the two demons of the Toguro brothers came to visit. It happened that Green Xiaoming released the Zerg mist in the demon world at this time. By the way, he laid eggs and hatched Zerg humans. Zhang Zhong has now recovered his full health. He has clones in the demon world and the human world. When the Toguro brothers came to visit, Zhang Zhong's clone quickly sent a message. Green Xiaoming then opened the portal and brought 1/3 of Zhang Zhong, Neferpitu, and Death Girl from the Devil's Nest to the villa in the human world. Karama, Feiying, Suike, Phantom Cat, and Lu Yi are all lived in the villa. Some were taking care of the villa's business, some were practicing, and some were playing. Xiaoming did not allow Phantom Cat to go to the real world, so she had to come to the private world and got along very well with Suike. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 984. Phantom Cat Kitty Pryde is a plot character that Xiaoming brought back from the world of X-Men by accident. She has the ability to walk through walls, but accidentally got into Xiaoming's Bright Summit and was brought to the real world. Because she is a plot character, many reincarnations know her. Xiaoming dare not let her appear by his side, nor dare to let her run around. There are many masters on Pangu Star, and Katie's own combat power is very poor. If she is not caught, it will be troublesome if she is caught by the police. Originally, Xiaoming planned to find a reincarnation world that Katie liked and leave her there. But he always missed the opportunity. On August 8, Phantom Cat followed Xiaoming to leave the X-Men world. On August 15, the mutants led by Magneto stayed in the Marvel world. This time was originally an opportunity, but Katie was playing with the Death Girl in Huiguo Mountain at the time and did not follow Xiaoming to the reincarnation world. So he missed it. On August 20, Xiaoming went to the Saint Seiya world on impulse, but he didn't bring Phantom Cat with him. After that, Xiaoming fell into the state of being interviewed by the underworld. He has never been summoned by the reincarnation space. To be honest, it's good to miss these two times. These two worlds are too dangerous. Magneto and his friends are all combat mutants, so it doesn't matter if they go to fight. But Katie is just a young girl, Xiaoming can't bear to let her fall into the fire pit, and has always planned to send her to a more peaceful world. But this is also a problem. Katie is not Xiaoming's follower, and must be smuggled through Guangmingding or Kunlun. But all the worlds that can open these two spaces are worlds with energy levels that are high to a certain extent. Generally, they are not very peaceful. Xiaoming is worried about Katie, but Katie doesn't care. She actually prefers to live within the scope of Xiaoming's management. Not only is it very safe, but it's also quite fun. You can see all kinds of magical species. Especially the strange insect humans, insects, and monsters in the demon world. Here she didn't feel discriminated against at all. She lived much more comfortably than the American rape in the original world. Xiaoming also noticed her mentality. If Xiaoming took this opportunity to propose to transform her into a human insect, she would agree with a 49% probability. Another 51% possibility is that she was worried that she would become ugly after becoming a human insect, so she disagreed. Later, she agreed again on the premise that Xiaoming promised to continue to be beautiful. However, after careful consideration, Xiaoming did not make this suggestion. After all, Katie is still young and her mind is not settled. Today, she made an impulsive decision. After a few days, when the novelty is gone, she may regret it. Let's wait until she is older and can be responsible for her own choices before talking about this. Besides, I have become a civil servant in the underworld now. After this name is published, maybe Katie can live a stable life in the real world. On Pangustar ruled by the Chinese countries, both the social atmosphere and the moral level are much better than the Earth dominated by the American rape in the reincarnation world. A kind-hearted character like Katie deserves to live in a better world. At present, Katie still likes to keep Sway company and play together. Although Phantom Cat and Death Girl come from the same world, their personalities, ideals, and principles are too different. Death Girl's personality is still simpler and more direct. But to be honest, Death Girl is not very old. Xiaoming hopes that she can be as lively and active as Katie. Unfortunately, Death Girl's life is much more miserable than Phantom Cat, and this is not something that can be changed overnight. When the Toguro brothers came to the villa a few kilometers away, they were discovered by the demon world plants planted by the fox demon Kurama. As soon as he saw that it was them, Kurama did not let the demon world plants attack. Otherwise, the two brothers would have been hit by a ton of pea cannons. Kurama reported to Zhangzhong and notified Xiaoming to return from the demon world. At the same time, he notified all the combatants in the villa to be on alert. When the Toguro brothers arrived at the front door of the villa, Green Xiaoming had already led a group of masters to wait for them. Of course, Setsuna and Katie were not included in this list. The speed of the invasion of the Toguro brothers was not slow at all. They had originally thought that they would rush in to give Xiaoming a warning. Unexpectedly, the detection range of the Kurama demon world plants was too wide, and it was useless for them to be fast. Instead, they were taken advantage of by Xiaoming and lost their edge. He. As if he was very unhappy about losing the initiative, the Toguro brother laughed harshly and unpleasantly. It was like the voice of eunuchs in ancient costume movies and TV shows. He only heard him say in a yin-yang tone, "Not bad, you know, to save trouble for grandpa, and line up together to die. So good." The Toguro brother said nothing, standing beside his brother, and did not say anything to stop him. It seemed that he was letting his brother test the strength of Xiaoming's side. It seems that he didn't beat them lightly last time. He only kicked them once, and they didn't learn the lesson. In fact, Xiaoming knew very well. They were so arrogant, nothing more than because their strength had greatly improved. And it was the reward and punishment sword that I gave to the two last time that caused this result. Toguro brother received life and health rewards because of his many good deeds. As a result, his strength has risen to a higher level than before. Now he has reached the level of A-level monsters. No wonder he doesn't take Xiaoming seriously. Toguro brother is not a good person. It's just that he followed his brother and did some good things passively at the beginning, so the punishment of the reward and punishment sword on him was not strong. And he was a little bit crazy, so those minor punishments further stimulated his demonic power. Of course, even if he is upgraded, he is still a B-level guy and not worth a damn. It doesn't matter whether brother Hui or Lu wants to play the harp or the harp. But to go to Xiaoming's base to show off his power is to be short-sighted. Xiaoming lightly stamped his foot on the ground, poof. Ouch, an object 7 or 8 meters long broke out of the ground, still carrying flames. The end of the object is connected to brother Toguro. This barbecue is his body. As a monster, Toguro's special ability is to change the shape of his body at will, and he can also turn into weapons or armors. He can move the position of any organ such as the brain and internal organs at will so that the enemy cannot attack the vital points. It also has a very strong regeneration ability. Brother Toyolu was talking and laughing strangely to attract everyone's attention. At the same time, he was extending his body underground and leaning towards Xiaoming and the others, waiting for an opportunity to launch a sneak attack. But this change was clearly seen by Xiaoming's Yuan. Stomping his feet was just an illusion. Xiaoming actually secretly used alchemy to turn the soil around Togoro's body into magma. More than 30% of his body was burned in an instant. If he hadn't rushed out of the ground quickly, it would have been possible for him to be destroyed directly. Who told him to be speechless? Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 985. The person who knows Toguro best is none other than Togoro's younger brother. How could they not know about the brothers who are together all day long? In the past, he could still control him, but since Togoro's younger brother turned evil and reincarnated his brothers into monsters, he has turned a blind eye. He thinks that with a great master like him protecting him, it doesn't matter if his brother is mean. It's just right to provoke some enemies for him to practice. In the area governed by the spirit world, Togoro's younger brother, who was at level B at the time, was considered invincible. His brother's mouth became more and more mean. He didn't expect that he would really hit the iron plate this time. The opponent's method was too weird, and even he didn't notice it, and his brother was directly hit. Togoro's younger brother rushed to Xiaoming in a hurry, intending to stop Xiaoming from continuing to attack. His current state is only 40%, and his strength is between level 6 and level 7, which is about B and an A-. At the current strength, Zhangzhong and Neferpitou were too lazy to take action, and Feiying and Karama were not good enough, so the Death Girl rushed out directly to take over Toguro. Her strength was just at this level, and she was a match for Toguro. Toguro had already fallen to the ground, and he quickly put out the flames on his body, but it was not a big deal. The burned part also recovered quickly. It was just that after this tossing, his demon power was reduced by at least 30%. At this moment, he was still in fear of Xiaoming, so he didn't dare to say a word. Seeing that his brother was fine, Xiaoming's side had no intention of continuing to deal with him. Toguro was relieved to fight with the Death Girl. Both of them were types with strong recovery ability. Toguro was better in physique and strength, while the Death Girl was outstanding in agility. The Death Girl's metal claws could not cause fatal injuries to Toguro. Similarly, Togoro's fists and feet could not seriously injure the Death Girl. Both of them were masters with rich combat experience, and the fight was quite beautiful. If Toguro uses 70% or 80% of his strength, he will surely win, but it is difficult to find an opponent, so Toguro decided to have fun first. Unfortunately, the Death Girl didn't think so. She had just got the lightsaber and was thinking about how to find an enemy to try her hand. So when the two of them fought for more than 3 minutes, Toguro swept his right leg horizontally, and the Death Girl blocked it with her right palm. It seemed to be a normal move, but when the Death Girl's palm approached her knee, an ion light blade shot out from her wrist and directly cut off Toguro's right leg at the knee. Fortunately for the Toguro brothers, the temperature of the ion light blade was extremely high. While cutting off the leg, it also scorched and sealed the wounds on both sides. It did not cause heavy bleeding. After a successful strike, the Death Girl planned to continue swinging a few swords to slice Toguro directly. Suddenly, she felt a tightness in her waist, but it was Xiaoming who pulled her back with stretchable love. The Death Girl was still wondering why the boss didn't let her continue to chase. I only heard Toguro roar wildly, standing on one leg, and the demonic energy shot out in all directions. The momentum was so terrifying that the Death Girl was frightened. It turned out that he didn't use his full strength. Toguro's muscles squirmed and swelled, and Toguro quickly picked up his brother's severed right leg and connected it to his brother's broken leg. The muscles continued to squirm and it was connected. Toguro, who exerted 80% of his momentum, showed the oppressive power of an A-level monster. It can be said to be majestic. However, he was handsome for only 3 seconds. In the blink of an eye, he was kicked and flew backwards, almost a kilometer away. Wherever he went, trees and stones were knocked away, as if a road was opened in the mountains and forests. The one who made the move was the cat girl Neferpitou. When Toguro was only B-level, she had no interest in him. It was different when he reached A-level. It was time to fight. The original Neferpitou was a natural A-level chimera ant, and she was reincarnated as a bug human. She was also a natural A-level bug human. She also retained her previous memories and abilities. She has been following Xiaoming for so long and has come into contact with many masters. Her strength is even stronger than before. There are few opponents under Xiaoming. It was not easy to find such a master, and Catwoman rushed to take action. Seeing the smoke and dust in the distance, the battlefield was getting farther and farther, and everyone looked at each other. Everyone knows Neferpitou's character. If he goes crazy, no one can stop him except Xiaoming. And there is no need to stop him. Brother Toguro is still a good person at present. Xiaoming told Catwoman through telepathy that she should not kill the other party if she could. Then he led a group of subordinates back to the villa, without waiting or watching the battle. As for Brother Toguro, he was left there. Xiaoming didn't even feel like inviting him in. He didn't kill him at the same time, all to give his brother face. Brother Toguro looked at the closed door in front of him. The 2 guards were just ordinary people. But they didn't have the courage to get angry. Why is this script different from what I thought before coming here? Shouldn't my brother show his power and scare the other party to death, and then issue an invitation? Unexpectedly, I just made a move and lost inexplicably. No, I almost died. Then my younger brother made a move and the other party also had a monster that could take it. I didn't think so before, until the cat girl burst out with all her momentum and rushed over to kick my younger brother. Brother Toguro realized that there was such a terrifying existence on the opposite side. What are the strengths of the other monsters? Will there be a stronger existence than this cat? He, who had always been full of confidence in his brother, was now in a state of anxiety. Could his brother really beat that Catwoman? The answer to this question appeared about 2 hours later, when Neferpitou dragged back Toguro, who had been beaten half-crippled and in a deep coma. Bang, the Catwoman threw a lump in front of Toguro. She was not unscathed, but her injuries were not obvious. She would recover in a few days. She licked the blood on her fingers in a charming way and said, "Meow, it's so satisfying. Take him back and heal his wounds quickly. Come back to me after you recover." She walked towards the gate of the villa, her tail swaying, showing that she was in a good mood. After walking a dozen steps, she suddenly remembered something, and the Catwoman said directly without looking back, "We will go to that dark martial arts conference. Try to find more powerful comrades, don't let me have too much fun." Even though the opponent did not burst out with demonic power, Toguro still felt cold all over and his legs trembled. He was completely suppressed by the Catwoman's momentum and couldn't move at all. What a terrible enemy. My brother actually sent an invitation. Did he think he was too old? It was not until long after Neferpitou entered the villa that Toguro ran away with his unconscious brother in a hurry. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 986. The Dark Martial Arts Tournament is a place where gangsters, tycoons, and powerful people who use the power of darkness to accumulate wealth gather their 5 most powerful players to fight the worst fighting skills in history. The martial arts tournament invites some so-called guests, who are actually people who are forced to participate. They are often targeted because they cause trouble for the gangsters or tycoons. If you refuse to participate, it means death. The conference will send more and more powerful killers to constantly hunt down the guests who refuse to participate. Before, Xiaoming killed Taijin Gonzo and sold 90% of his assets. Most of the money he got was given to the Chinese country in this world. This left a very bad impression in the rich circle of Japan. These greedy guys think that even if Xiaoming doesn't want money, he should give it to them. Sakyo, the boss of the Toguro brothers, took advantage of the mentality of the rich and forced Xiaoming to be the guest of this dark martial arts tournament. Also as guests are Fei Ying, who once appeared with Xiaoming, and Kurama, who occasionally appeared after occupying this villa. Xiaoming could find the other two team members by himself. The Toguro brothers came to threaten Xiaoming and others to participate this time. As a result, they almost didn't even complete the invitation step. Fortunately, Toguro brother mentioned this matter in the process of fighting with Neferpitou. It aroused Catwoman's great interest. She likes fighting with masters the most. Xiaoming doesn't care much about the so-called pursuit, nor does he think that the killer can be so strong. The high-level monsters that the Zerg has conquered and driven away in the demon world are piled up. However, in order to avoid these guys specifically assassinating the weaker ones on their side, it doesn't hurt to participate in this conference. Maybe you can also get to know some people or monsters who are more informed. Of course, if the other party is not a good thing, Xiaoming doesn't mind rewarding good and punishing evil in the private world. It is not in vain for his identity as a civil servant in the underworld. Xiaoming forgot that he is only a civil servant in the underworld in the real world, not in the private world. Is this considered over-enforcement of the law? The time of the conference is about 1 month later. In addition to Xiaoming's team, the other two members are Zhang Zhong and Neferpitou. With these two insect-human guards, plus Xiaoming himself, the victory has basically been secured. If the three of them can't win, then they deserve to be killed. Fei Ying and Kurama are now in a state of less than B level and more than C level. They are a bit of a drag on the team. Of course, this is not their fault. For 15 years, Xiaoming led them to practice martial arts Changshengju instead of practicing demon power. This caused their strength to lag behind. But in fact, Xiaoming knows that the level of Changshengju is very high, and the effect of practicing with spiritual energy is quite good. Fei Ying and Kurama's demon power and spiritual power are actually different manifestations of the same thing. With Changshengju, their demon power will naturally advance by leaps and bounds. These 15 years are not completely wasted. Of course, this improvement takes a certain amount of time to achieve. These days after returning from the Saint Seiya world, they have actually felt the effect of practicing with half the effort. There is still a month before the Dark Martial Arts Conference, and they are confident that they will surprise everyone. Xiaoming has many masters under his command, and Xiao Hong and Xiao Lu are fully qualified to play. They are estimated to be almost invincible. However, the two of them are Xiaoming's hidden trump cards, so it is better not to show their faces easily. After practicing in the Saint Seiya world for 15 years, Xiao Hong and Xiao Lu are also a little bored. After returning, they entered the Magic Planet game with the help of the server of Mao Mao's avatar. They have no interest in the main game, but are very interested in the secret realm. You should know that the secret realm of the Magic Planet and the mission world of the reincarnation space have the same storyline and the same plot characters. This is very helpful for reincarnationists. If you guess right once, it will be a huge advantage. Therefore, as long as the reincarnationists know about this, almost all of them will take some time to play the game. Try to master some information in advance. Because of this game, the Lu family, royal family of the New Han Kingdom, has really made a lot of benefits. Of course, reincarnationists must not play games all day. After all, their own practice cannot be relaxed. Otherwise, even if you know the plot, but you don't have enough strength to seize the opportunity, it's still nonsense. Xiaoming's way of playing is to remain unchanged in the face of changes. As a golden VIP, Xiaoming doesn't have to worry about annoying problems such as death and interests. So Xiaoming doesn't care so much about the plot. He is not as serious as Xiao Hong and Xiao Lu. On this day, they wanted to drag Xiaoming to play in the random secret realm together. Xiaoming agreed, but he had to ask for leave first. He needed to go to the Yellow Emperor Galaxy first and come back after feeding the Light Spirit. A few minutes later, when Xiaoming just started to feed the Light Spirit, he received a message from the Captain Zhou Bin in the tactical glasses. After feeding, the captain and the instructor came to visit together. The first sentence he said was a major news. In a few days, the 9th dispatch team of the Yellow Emperor Galaxy, where they are, will officially land on the Quafu planet on September 3rd. This landing time was deliberately adjusted. Xiaoming, who has watched Far Island's Strange Man, knows that this is the victory day of the anti-Japanese war in the parallel world of the Chinese country. This touched Xiaoming. It seemed that the leadership of the new Han Kingdom was not complacent. They still attached great importance to the experience of another world. Xiao the intelligent program that operates Xiaoming, actually knew about it this morning. But he didn't take it seriously and didn't inform Xiaoming himself. The captain and the instructor's intention of notifying at this time was also to inform the unknown person who had just connected to Xiaoming. Since this group of team members were collectively awakened from hibernation on June 6, after nearly 3 months of voyage, this dispatch team is finally going to reach its destination Quafu. Xiaoming suddenly felt that the world had changed. At the beginning of June, I just knew about the Yanhuang Rise plan, and I was excited and proud of it for a long time. It's such a magical thing to be able to set foot on another planet in another solar system. Today, more than 2 months later, things have changed, and Xiaoming's horizons have changed. Fortunately, this excitement is still retained. When fusing the yellow source energy, Xiaoming once saw the last battle of the 3 tribes of humans, gods, and insects 1.5 million years ago. After the 3 tribes died together, the wreckage of the last spacecraft of the gods flew to the Yellow Emperor Galaxy. Xiaoming didn't know what happened later. Maybe the wreckage of the Protoss spacecraft is still drifting in the Yellow Emperor Galaxy. Xiaoming only knew that the dead Protoss members were inextricably linked to the Light Spirit. Maybe he could get more intelligence on Quafu Star. After all, after getting down to Earth, the military's surveillance of the team members would definitely be much looser than when they were inside the spacecraft. He could also come up with more tricks. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 987. Xiaoming has finished feeding the light spirits and found that 8 light spirits left Kunlun and 13 more came in. Do they regard this place as a tourist destination? After informing the news of the upcoming arrival at Quafu Star, the captain mentioned another thing. According to convention, before arriving at Quafu, Team 33 will organize a group activity. Your situation is so special, it's up to you to decide whether to participate or not. Xiaoming will of course participate in the group activity of Team 33. Regardless of the fact that many people in the team are not the originals at all, and there are some outsiders. But Xiaoming is very interested in having a group activity with his high school classmates, and in space. As for Xiao Hong and Xiao Lu who are still waiting for him to play together at home, Xiaoming can explain it to them through the shadow clone. The 2 of them won't mind. It's not that they feel that as servants, they dare not interfere with the master's decision. They have been together for so many years, and the original concept of master and servant has long been gone. In fact, because they are immortals, their perception of time is different from that of ordinary people. Xiaoming is not free for the time being, so they can practice for a while and wait, or even wait for a month. After more than 50 minutes, Captain Zhou and Instructor Li finally gathered the members of Team 33. It was a bit hasty. Because they didn't expect that the person who hacked into Zhang Xiaoming's clone would be interested in participating in such an activity. After all, theoretically, this person or this pair of brothers should have nothing in common with the members of Team 33. This time it was just a polite question. Unexpectedly, he really agreed. Liana thought that they might be considering that they would still be comrades in arms on Quafu Star in the future. They planned to keep in touch first. The military is still quite supportive of this kind of active integration into the group. The superior's procedures were quickly completed. At the same time, the team members who were still in the game were called out, and those who had not entered the game were also gathered. They all waited next to their own game cabins. Prepare for group activities. Because some team members were in the secret realm and couldn't get out for a while, it took nearly an hour. Xiaoming thought that everyone would take turns to drive the space probe and fly out from the transport ship to have fun. To commemorate this space trip. Unfortunately, there are only a few probes on a transport ship, and each flight requires energy consumption, and the dispatch team does not have such luxury. The so-called collective activities are still carried out in the game, and everyone participates in a secret realm together. Team 33, a total of 60 members. Each group of 10 people is divided into 6 groups. The grouping method is to arrange in a serpentine shape according to the results. Number 1-6 are the leaders of the 6 groups respectively. So Zhang Xiaoming, number 6, is the leader of the 6th group. Then number 7-12 are arranged in reverse. Number 7 Gu Weiner becomes the deputy leader of the 6th group, and number 12 is the deputy leader of the 1st group. The serpentine arrangement can make the collective results of each group member more even. Xiaoming, Tan Guangwen, Li Lu, and other friends, of course, want to get together in a group. But this is in the military. How can we let these people choose at will? Which group you are assigned to is that group. Not only do you have no choice, but even if you want to apply for a transfer in the future, it will not be easily allowed. Of course, it is not necessarily to say that it is completely in accordance with the rules. The military wants to mix sand in the team. Gu Weiner is from the internal system of the military, and she was obviously assigned to the 6th group. It can be said that from the beginning, Gu Weiner was sent by the military to keep an eye on Zhang Xiaoming's clone. If Xiaoming does not do well as the team leader, then the deputy team leader Gu Weiner may take over at any time. In fact, one of the leaders and deputy leaders of each group must come from the military. Tan Guangwen, number 3, is naturally the leader of the 3rd group. His Tan family reincarnation team is basically scattered in different groups. The test scores of the 2 Jiaos in the north and south are almost the same, and they are also ranked 1 foot behind the other. Maybe the military also paid attention to the adjustment and did not separate the twins. So the 2 Jiaos, number 24 and number 25, were arranged in the 1st group. It's a pity that they were not assigned to Xiaoming's group 6. In Xiaoming's group, there is only number 18 Yu Jingjing. She is operating by herself, and her body is also strengthened by Xiaoming into a bug man. While her strength has improved a lot, she also has the nickname of Dragonfly Girl. Having her in your group is also a good thing. I just don't know if her mind ability has been developed. Xiaoming looked carefully and shook his head. The time is too short, and Yu Jingjing's mind power level is still low, which is not enough to support special skills. Maybe I can help her in the future. Jurassic Park is the name of the secret realm entered by Team 33. Hearing this name, many boys got excited. The biological evolution history of Pangu Star, including several natural disasters and mass extinctions, is the same as the Earth in the parallel world. Many students know that the Jurassic period, about 200 million to 150 million years ago, was the era when dinosaurs flourished. It is also the dream of countless boys. So when they first entered the secret realm, many people thought they had really arrived in the Jurassic era. They thought it was a time travel story. Later, they were disappointed to find that the era of the secret realm was modern society, and the dinosaurs here were all artificially bred. The general situation is like this. A wealthy man bought an island and revived the dinosaurs in modern society using high-tech genetic engineering. On this island, he built the Jurassic Park with dinosaurs as the selling point. However, before the opening, an employee was bribed with the intention of stealing dinosaur embryos and information. After getting the things, he deliberately shut down the park's security and communication systems in order to escape. The dinosaurs ran out of their captivity, causing great chaos. The most troublesome thing is that a large number of carnivorous dinosaurs were also cultivated in the park after they were freed. All humans became ready-made prey. The huge Tyrannosaurus Rex and the swift and fierce Velociraptor are more terrifying than lions and tigers. Speaking of which, Velociraptors and aliens seem a bit similar, but they should not be as strong as aliens. Tyrannosaurus Rex may be able to fight with the alien queen for a few rounds. Thinking about it is a little exciting. The time when Team 33 entered the plot was when all the dinosaurs ran out. They were security guards of the park and carried light weapons with them. The 6 groups were separated in different places in the park. They were also far away from the characters in the plot. The goal of this mission is to survive as long as possible. If you can save the characters in the plot, you can get extra points. Now let's see how the members of Team 33, who know almost nothing about the plot, pass this secret realm. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 988. The foundation of Team 33 was the class that Zhang Xiaoming was in when he was in high school. But not all members were copied. There were more than 50 people in the class, 48 of whom were copied, and 12 outsiders joined. Nominally, they were from other high schools, but in fact, they were all arranged by the military. 2 outsiders were placed in each group. In Xiaoming's group 6, in addition to number 7 Gu Weiner, the other outsider was number 42 Liang Gang. Xiaoming was not familiar with him at all. This was probably a military tactic, with Gu Weiner approaching for observation and Liang Gang observing from a distance. In group 6, in addition to myself and number 18 Yu Jingjing, the classmates in this class also included number 19 Sun Yongsu, number 30 Li Gang, number 31 Lu Yinghong, number 43 Dai Wuyu, number 54 Zhang Wanli, and number 55 Gu Yao. Zhang Wanli and Lu Yinghong happened to be in my group. They were both lucky. At the beginning of this world, everyone was equipped with a light submachine gun, a pistol, a saber, a small amount of ammunition supplies, and items such as fluorescent sticks. With only these things, it is enough to use them sparingly. As long as there is no impact from a large group of dinosaurs, you can still survive. Even without reconnaissance, Xiaoming can feel the vigorous vitality of many dinosaurs on this island. It seems a bit wasteful not to eat more when encountering such a secret realm. Although this is in the game, the degree of reality of everything is not low. After all, it is also created by the source energy of Fuxi-Qin. What Xiaoming obtained from the game and the secret realm is not false. The genetic information of the alien and chimera ants he obtained at the beginning came from the secret realm. Although the degree of reality of the main game and the secret realm is a little worse than that of the real world or the reincarnation world. But it is real enough. Xiaoming has recently reproduced insect humans in the demon world, and has consumed most of the energy that has been accumulated for a long time. It really needs to be replenished. This place is just right. But Xiaoming thought about it and found that it was not right. These dinosaurs are just animals, and there is no distinction between good and evil, and there is no way to die. It is nothing to eat 1 or 2 occasionally to satisfy your cravings and whet your appetite. But to replenish energy on a large scale, you need to eat a lot of dinosaurs. In fact, even if you eat all the dinosaurs on the entire island, the replenishment is far from enough. Do you really have to eat a lot? There is no need for this. As a civil servant who is about to take office in the underworld, this behavior is also undesirable. Compared with Xiaoming's ideological struggle, the other team members are much simpler. The moment they landed in the secret realm of Jurassic Park, they were all attracted by Xiaoming. Where did this mecha warrior come from? Remember Xiaoming's universal item Iron Blood Neza? This item can be used in the main game and most secret realms. Now it is almost complete. A complete set of armor covering Xiaoming's whole body, made of liquid metal, can be easily transformed into various weapons, armor, and tools. The computer terminal on the armor is the clone left by Malmoer, who can handle computer matters. A decoder plug-in was also installed, which can crack most passwords. How could the appearance of such a high-tech armor not cause shock and envy among all team members? Before entering the secret realm, Xiaoming was still considering how much strength to use. The previous plan was to use martial arts and magic. As long as he makes good use of his hidden weapon ability and healing magic, he should be able to protect all team members. And he won't be exposed. In fact, in the game's secret realm, Xiaoming can also use the general skill coin flick. It's just that it costs 1 gold coin to flick once, which is too expensive. The role of the security team leader doesn't have so many assets. In terms of power, the skill of coin flick is also incomparable to Xiaoming, who has practiced the longevity formula for 15 years. This kind of skill that costs money, Xiaoming doesn't want to use it unless it is absolutely necessary. But now these are useless. Xiaoming can protect everyone's safety with just the iron-blooded Neza. At most, use a few more healing spells. At this moment, the time in the secret realm is late at night, and it is pitch black and raining heavily. Before Xiaoming could react, Mao Mao responded instantly, using liquid metal to prop up a large umbrella to protect Xiaoming from the rain. Xiaoming made some modifications in the middle of the process, splitting out 9 branches and propping up 9 more umbrellas, giving everyone an umbrella over their heads. At the same time, in the distance that the few people could not see, 3 7-star shadow clones with Sherinan were separated, wearing invisible suits and exploring in other directions. The military may have strict monitoring of this mission, so Xiaoming did not use his mental power skill to scan the map. After Xiaoming's in-depth research on the skill of scanning the map, the concealment is actually very high now, and it may not be discovered. It's just that Xiaoming doesn't want to take risks. Besides, for a secret realm, there is no need. When Xiaoming arrived, although he was wearing an iron-blooded armor, his face was still exposed. This time, everyone's characters also used their own images. The system did not increase the difficulty in this regard. Xiaoming's mechanical armor was already enough to make people stunned, and it could also turn into an umbrella. The key is that it can also hold an umbrella for each of the 10 people. This is beyond everyone's comprehension. Yu Jingjing is the most familiar with Xiaoming and knows that Xiaoming is very strong, so she is not particularly surprised and speaks first. Mingzi, you are good. This, what is this? This. That's right, the team leader is awesome. Let me see, *n, several people immediately echoed. As they spoke, they squeezed to Xiaoming's side and touched him all over. Xiaoming didn't mind that he wasn't touching himself. But Mao Mao felt very strange and wanted to get some thorns to prick these clumsy guys. Xiaoming stopped him. Gu Wan'er was smarter and immediately told the truth. If I'm not mistaken, team leader, this should be some kind of high-tech universal item. It's much more advanced than mine. As she spoke, she raised her right wrist, and everyone saw that there was also a high-tech wrist armor on her right wrist, which was the Neza Type 6 auxiliary mechanical arm. This thing is the predecessor of Iron Blood Neza. After being strengthened by Xiaoming's hands, it became what it is now. Xiaoming praised, Wan'er is really smart, the predecessor of my armor is your mechanical arm. Oh, really? Several people who were originally touching and searching Xiaoming squeezed to Gu Wan'er again. That means we have a chance to get this, too, Someone in the group immediately envisioned a bright future. Someone discovered the key. Isn't this thing an upgraded version of those things in the warehouse? The auxiliary mechanical arms that can be purchased by the reserve in the spacecraft warehouse are only Type 2 and Type 3, which are far inferior to this one, and it is difficult for the student to see it. At this point, the conversation of Group 6 has completely gone off topic. All the members are discussing this question and have forgotten the plot. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 989. The founder of Jurassic Park is a wealthy man named John Hammond. He used mosquitoes that sucked dinosaur blood sealed in amber to obtain most of the DNA sequences of dinosaurs. Then he used high-tech technology to complete the gene chain and cloned and revived hundreds of dinosaurs. Based on this, he established Jurassic Park. This naturally attracted the covetousness of other businesses. Dennis Nardelli is a computer programmer in the park, and was bribed by other businesses to become a business spy/trader. In order to take away the stolen dinosaur embryos smoothly, he shut down the park's security and communication systems, including the power system. As a modern man, Xiaoming is not willing to blame him too much for stealing things for money. But shutting down the power and security systems will inevitably cause casualties. This is very messed up. Fortunately, Dennis had died in the mouth of a dinosaur that could spray poison before the arrival of Team 33. Xiaoming didn't have to go looking for him. The circuit of Jurassic Park was interrupted, causing the two sightseeing vehicles in the park that were specially powered by electricity to be forced to stop halfway. At this time, the people riding the sightseeing bus were all important people. In the front car were John Hammond's granddaughter Lix and grandson Tim, and lawyer Donald Gennaro. In the back car were two scientists specially invited by Hammond to endorse the park, archaeologist Dr. Aaron Grant and mathematician Dr. Ian Malcolm. Their sightseeing bus was just unlucky and stopped right in the area of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. The 10,000-volt high-voltage power grid that was originally used to restrict the Tyrannosaurus Rex has now been cut off. The king of the dinosaur world is ready to move. Seeing that the Tyrannosaurus Rex was about to come, Donald was so scared that he left his two children behind and ran to a toilet far away. I don't know what he was thinking. Not to mention that his behavior of leaving two children behind was immoral. At this time, it was human nature to run for his life. But what the hell is running to the toilet? In front of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, would the toilet be safer than the car? If you want to run, why not just run farther away? Just as the Tyrannosaurus Rex put its big head in front of the car window, scaring the two children to scream loudly, Dr. Grant rushed out and tried to attract the attention of the Tyrannosaurus Rex with a burning stick. A figure jumped down from a height and rode on the neck of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. I don't know what the figure did. The next second, the Tyrannosaurus Rex suddenly squatted on the ground like a puppy. Everyone's eyes turned to the man riding on the neck of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. This person was Xiaoming's 7 shadow clone, and his appearance was the image of Neo from the Matrix. He cancelled his invisible uniform when he appeared. Neo himself is a super handsome guy, and with such a shocking appearance animation, he immediately won the favor of the two children, Lix and Tim. Seeing that the Tyrannosaurus Rex was so well behaved, Lix was a girl and was a little scared, but the boy Tim ran out excitedly. Looking around the head of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Who are you? How did you do it? Dr. Grant threw away the burning stick in his hand and walked over bravely to ask. Neo's clone didn't know how to explain the skill Zerg conquer. He could only reluctantly say that he had some special abilities and could tame wild beasts. Grant's expression was obviously unconvincing, and Dr. Malcolm, who arrived just before him, also expressed doubt. They had to believe it even though they saw the Tyrannosaurus Rex being obedient and even making various pet movements. Not long after, both children ran to the head of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Anyway, the clone could stick them with stretchable love, so there was no need to worry about any accidents. After discussing it, the few people decided to rush back to the research institute in the park with the Tyrannosaurus Rex escorting them. Safety was no longer a problem. As for Donald, who was hiding in the toilet, several characters in the plot had forgotten about him because they were too excited. Neo's clone did sense the existence of this person, but after looking at his life energy, he didn't look like a good person, so he ignored him. After walking and chatting for about half an hour, the few people met Dr. Eli Settler and the administrator Robert Muldoon, who drove to rescue them. Ellie is Grant's old partner, and Robert is a very experienced hunter who was hired by Hammond to become the park manager. The two of them came to the rescue at the risk of their lives, which moved several people very much. Of course, when they saw the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the two were also scared to death, and Robert almost opened fire. Fortunately, Neo flicked a stone to stop him. After explaining it clearly to the two, Robert's admiration for Neo was like the flood of the Yellow River, and it was out of control. Being able to tame a Tyrannosaurus Rex in the blink of an eye, this skill is simply a magical skill for hunters. If he hadn't thought of Donald, he might have followed Neo to pray for the magical skill. Now he can only drive to save Donald first. As for the other few people, they will not encounter any danger with the protection of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Instead, he needs to take Donald and return to the Tyrannosaurus Rex as soon as possible to be safer. In fact, in theory, except for some small carnivorous dinosaurs, the threat of humans in the entire park is not great. There's only one Tyrannosaurus Rex and 3 velociraptors, that's all. The rest of the beasts are still in their eggs. The plot of Jurassic Park 1 is mainly about dealing with these guys. Now 60 armed personnel from Team 33 have entered the secret realm. If there were only these things and they were still circling around the protagonists, it would not be difficult at all. So the system changed the number of dinosaurs. There will be a Tyrannosaurus Rex and 3 to 5 velociraptors near the landing site of each group. It depends on how each group deals with it. Anyway, Team 6 dealt with it quite easily. Xiaoming has deliberately not done much, but the strength of this group is still very strong. Especially the dragonfly girl Yu Jingjing, after becoming an insect man, she has a very keen sense. She soon discovered the 5 velociraptors that were installing and observing Team 6. She was very smart and reported directly to the insect king Xiaoming with her consciousness. Although Xiaoming actually saw it earlier than her. So Xiaoming stopped pretending to be stupid and quietly notified the others in the group with Iron Blood Neza. Marked the location of several velociraptors. At a command, 5 flares were fired, illuminating the enemy's position and blinding the opponent's eyes. 10 submachine guns opened fire, and 2 people in a group attacked and fired at 5 velociraptors respectively. In the volley of gunfire, 3 were killed on the spot, and 1 was seriously injured and fell to the ground. Another one was lucky and jumped just in time, so it was not blinded and escaped the first wave of attacks. Unfortunately, this guy was too fierce and did not run away, but rushed directly towards everyone, and was about to hurt his own team members. Xiaoming had no choice but to use an iron spear to fly out and nail the head of this velociraptor to the tree. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 990. Wow! The team leader is so powerful and domineering. Wu pulled out the iron-blooded spear with force and sent it back with a bang. Fifth Yu was so frightened by the charging velociraptor that he sat down, his diaphragm hit the stone, his buttocks hurt a little, and he had difficulty walking. His last name is very unique, and he was okay in first and second place, but he was a bit far behind in 5th place, and he didn't even make it to the semi-finals. Because of his poor oral skills, he is not very popular. It made him feel quite inferior. People also have some please-type personalities. Xiaoming has been in the Saint Seiya world for so many years, and his status is very high whether in the immortal palace or the temple. A little compliment has no effect on him. At this moment, he calmly took the spear and applied a healing spell to Wu Yu. He was also very grateful. Gu Guaner shot to death the seriously injured raptor in the distance, and then asked Xiaoming. 5 velociraptors died here, which will soon attract a lot of scavengers. Let's leave first. It makes sense. Besides, the smell of blood is a bit strong and makes me feel a little nauseous. Lu Yinghong was the first to agree. The members of the 6 groups immediately changed their weapon magazines and left the place in a tactical formation. Soon after, a 7-yam shadow clone appeared and used divine power to send all the corpses into the bright summit. Although Xiaoming did not intend to kill any living beings in this secret realm, the corpses should not be wasted. The clone came and walked gently, waving his sleeves and taking away all the food. The Tyrannosaurus Rex, who rushed over in a hurry but missed, was so angry. It raised its big head, smelled the lingering smell in the air, and chased in the direction that Group 6 left. Later, it encountered Group 6 and was driven away by a fire net of 10 submachine guns. It was just a slight injury, not fatal. This kind of large carnivore generally does not hold grudges, and it is normal to bully the weak and fear the strong. Faced with an opponent that was so painful to beat, this Tyrannosaurus Rex would avoid anyone he saw in the future. Group 6 continued on the road after repelling the Tyrannosaurus Rex and quickly found the road on the island. It's easy to deal with now. Walking along the road, you can always find human buildings. Unfortunately, it was difficult to tell the direction in the heavy rain. Group 6 walked all night, and only discovered during the day the next day that they had arrived at a helicopter landing pad. Nothing else. Is it possible to go in the opposite direction? I had to rest where I was, eat some dry food I brought with me, and then turn around and go back. Let's talk about the protagonist, Neo, Tyrannosaurus Rex and his group. Several adults were sitting in the car. Neo and 2 children rode on the Tyrannosaurus Rex and sped up to the park control center. Because scientists know that there are 3 raptors imprisoned in the control center, and they should all be freed by now. If they got rampant, they would probably eat Hammond and the few remaining employees. So he urged Neo to take the Tyrannosaurus Rex back to the rescue. Of course, this worry is completely unnecessary. Wait until the group of people hurried home slowly. Power has been restored to the park. At the gate, 3 velociraptors were obediently circling around Trinity and Hammond, the 7 shadow clones, looking happy and happy. Only a few worried scientists realized that the matter here had been settled long ago. The gray-haired Hammond originally thought that Trinity's subjugation of 3 raptors was already a great achievement. I was even more shocked when I saw Neo, who had subdued the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Immediately proposed to hire 2 people with high-tech skills as the company's security directors. If all carnivorous dinosaurs could be tamed in this way, the safety factor of the entire park would undoubtedly increase a lot. The 2 clones naturally didn't care and agreed immediately. A huge disaster that was supposed to happen just disappeared. Of course, several scientists still raised some objections. After all, the appearance of Neo and Trinity is a completely special situation. If they hadn't happened to solve the big problem in Jurassic Park, the 2 of them would actually have broken the law and trespassed on private land. In theory, it can be killed directly. This also shows that there are still huge flaws in the security system of the entire park. There is a lack of emergency response mechanism for such emergencies. This is the problem that needs to be solved most. In addition, scientists have also raised some questions that are almost philosophical. Xiaoming didn't bother to pay attention. Humans should indeed respect nature, but cloning ancient creatures is not disrespectful. Who is qualified to decide this kind of issue? To be honest, Xiaoming doesn't think resurrecting dinosaurs will be a bigger problem than creating an atomic bomb. In Pangu Planet, there is no need to worry about such philosophical issues at all. There are at least 3 great powers in the underworld, heaven, and dragon palace regulating human behavior. As for what the earth in the parallel world is like, Xiaoming doesn't know. I just hope there can be something similar there. Xiaoming's 2 clones have completely solved the main plot. No one even needs to escape the island. Just clean up the mess. But the mission of Team 33 did not end immediately. Except for the 6th group, the other groups are competing with the carnivorous dinosaurs. Basically they can prevail. At this time, if the 6 groups go to help other groups, if it sounds good, they will help out, and if it sounds bad, they will snatch the results. Considering that we are all classmates, we will not do this. The 6 groups simply returned to the control center and concentrated on accepting various tasks issued by Hammond. At this time, Neo and Trinity, as trump cards, have been hidden by Hammond. This trump card cannot be exposed to too many people. Seeing that the main control center was intact, none of the damn plot characters died. Only Gu Weiner's life energy showed strange fluctuations. Xiaoming guessed that she might know the plot. However, she did not say much, but secretly kept this matter in mind. After the mission is over, it is estimated that it will be reported to the superiors. It doesn't matter, Xiaoming is not afraid of these now. His current job is to focus on collecting the genetic information of dinosaurs. Since he came to the main control center, he can completely control the scientists to make various dinosaur eggs for himself, and Xiaoming can just absorb them directly. This move is not to collect energy, but to obtain more genetic information from dinosaurs and enrich the gene pool of insect humans. Xiaoming is of course the more the better. The dinosaur eggs just made are still a long way from becoming real life, and absorbing them is not considered killing innocent people. After about 3 days in the game and about 1 day in real time, this collective activity officially ended. The results of Group 6 are naturally far ahead, not only better than the other 5 groups of Team 33, but also among the best in the entire 9th dispatch team. This achievement was recorded by the military, and each team member will be promoted faster in the future, and they also received considerable financial rewards.